Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Angela Shurina. I'm your host, I'm your Brains Coach, and it is my job here to bring to you all the best brain body tools from all the different emerging branches of sciences, neuroscience, health, nutrition, fitness, recovery, research, all kinds of mindset and psychology research. And it is my job here to learn about all of that from these sources, be that experts themselves, interviewing them for my podcast, or reading their books, or reading studies and research, and then bringing you the tools, the practical applications that have the power to transform your life today and completely reshaping your future, right? So this is what your Brains Coach is all about. Folks, today I have an amazing podcast for you, and it's been an accumulation of my present experiences, of my coaching calls with clients, and just talking to people about coaching more, and also working on my business. You're gonna learn a little bit more what I'm working on in my business in a second as an example. But first, yesterday I was having a conversation with a friend of a friend who I work with as a coach here in Cape Town. I made connections. It's actually been pretty good months making connections and all. I met quite a few people, probably more than the whole 2 years in Mexico and Brazil. So we were having conversation. And he asked me, so, okay, what are you selling? Right? The friend recommended you to me. So what are you selling? The person on the other side asked me. And I said, I'm not selling anything, not directly. I'm just trying to figure out whether you have a problem, whether you need to change something in yourself in order to change your future and your business results and results in personal life relationship. Well, I'm trying to figure out and help you to figure out whether you need to change something, and if I'm the right person to help you do the change so you get results faster in a more effective way. And so the conversation then went, and he asked me, well, how do I know whether I need to change? That was the first question. And then whether I need to change now and whether you're the right person, right? Those are the questions that people usually have in mind when they actually start strategically thinking about coaching. So let me address the first question. How do you know if you need to change? And it's actually it's simple, super simple. You need to do future talking or visualization of your future. You need to figure out what it is you want. Like, this is the first step. What do you want your future look like? You need to take time and figure that out. And folks, why is that important? Well, because if you don't want to end up in 10, 20, 30 years from now in a place where you look back and you're going to have a lot of regrets and you'll ask yourself, how did I end up here? I never wanted to be here. Well, did you actually take the time to figure out what it is you want in your future in order to build your desired future? You need to know what your desire is in the first place. You'll be surprised by how big of a percentage of people have no idea what they actually want their future look like when it comes to their business, their career, their relationships, their health. They kind of want to just land somewhere where everybody else is, and everybody else is not in such a great position. Like, a lot of people do not like their life that much. That's why people always think about vacations and weekends and just get away from their life, because people do not like living their life day to day. They want to escape. Anyhow, folks, if you don't want to be one of those people who, again, in 10, 20, 30 years, at the end of your life, look back and you're like, how did I end up here? I thought I would be something else, something more. Well, you got to start thinking about your future today and designing that future. Now, back to the question, when do you need that I need to change? Let's say you figure out what it is you want. Like, you know what you want your future look like professionally, business-wise, your relationships, your health, all the areas. You know what your future need. You want what future you want. So now the second step is think about the identity of a person that needs to live the future. So what do I mean by that? What kind of habits does this person have? What kinds of foods does this person eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? What kind of exercise habits this person have? What kinds of business habits this person have? What kinds of friends this person have? What kinds of week and weekend and monthly and yearly schedule this person have? What kind of interests and hobbies this person have? Like, who is this person? What do they value? What do they live day to day? What are their habits? What are their interests? What are their relationships? Their peer circle? Their, the other half, if, you're still working on that one as well. So you need to be as precise as possible about that person that basically you want to be living that future. In order to have in the future what you want to have, you got to become the person who has these things. Simple example. If you want to be a super fit, good looking person with six-pack abs, like this is your ideal, right? So what you need to do is actually think to yourself, even with limited amount of knowledge and experience perhaps, you need to figure out what are the habits of this person. They probably exercise, consistently, maybe not every day, but quite consistently. They probably have certain intensity to that exercise. They probably have a specific program to reach and maintain those results, right? And so you ask all of these things, and now back to yourself. And this is where you need to change. If you don't do what that person does to live that desired future, guess what, folks? You need to start implementing changes to first and foremost get closer and closer and closer towards that person that lives this future. There is no magic, folks. The present you have now is because of the person you are now. It's very, there is no magic. Like, you have what you deserve. Basically, who you are is what you have. And if you want to have different things, if you want to design different future, you got to become a different person. That's been true, when Tony Robbins just started. That is true today. And that is true for absolutely everyone. In order to have different things, be that business, relationships, finances, health, fitness, you got to become a different person if what you want is different from what you have. And usually for a lot of people, we people are driven by growth, by meaning, by development. Usually for most of you, especially if you're a high achiever and you want to design a different future and growth really motivates you, you know that you're never satisfied with the present and you always have a future vision for your life. And also, now you have to have a future vision for yourself. Now, I'll share a little bit of my story. So business-wise, I am deeply unsatisfied with where I am right now. I have this coaching practice that's been going on for more than a decade now, and I am satisfied with my expertise level, even though I'm never really satisfied. I always want to grow, and it's never enough. I want to know more. I want to become better. I want to, first and foremost, I want to get much, much better at serving my clients much better and to facilitate the transformation. I want to be, that person who changes people almost instantly, giving them the exact tools they need at the exact moment to produce maximum possible change in the moment. So I want to be that person. I want to be Tony Robbins, but different kind of Tony Robbins. So that's expertise wise. And I'm actually pretty good at it, even though, of course, there is a, level of improvement to serve the best of the best. But anyhow, what I'm not satisfied with, and that could be much better if I were the person who possessed the skills that I need to possess. So what I'm deeply not satisfied with is my business structures and my cash flow and my income and the way I do business. I am not satisfied with that. And that's what I'm working on. And so I'm not satisfied with my future, but back to the idea. Okay, what do I want in my future? I want to be an owner and someone who has the business, maintains the business, and grows the multi-million-dollar a year business with quite a small team. So that is who I want to be. Now, I'm not that person. And the reason why I'm not that person who has this is because I don't do consistently certain business related steps, procedures, habits. I'm working on them now. Like I'm working on them heavier than ever, and I'm improving them. But I also have this person, this alter ego personality in my head that I call $1 Million Babe. And she has that business. She has awesome entrepreneurs, also owners of multi-million-dollar businesses in her circle. She's surrounded by driven people who demand more from life, who live their everyday to the fullest, who want to squeeze every bit of life from every single day, right? This is my future social circle. I interact with people who are honest, who are action-oriented, who who know what they want from life and they don't have excuses not to go after them, who know what they want and go after that. And they constantly work on self-improvement, and they're not into their head or, obsessed with themselves, but constantly looking to learn, to improve, but also live life to the fullest, right? Go skydiving or go, rollerblading, kite surfing. So this is the kind of person I need to become. And then working on my business and learning my business habits and structures and things like, I'm working right now on this challenge system to launch my new coaching. And so every day I'm reading something about sales. I'm reading something about sales psychology. I'm reading something about designing the kind of launches that bring bigger audiences, the kind of audiences that I want to have in my coaching in the first place. So it's like every day I spend at least a couple of hours learning all of this. I haven't done that in years. Like I would always, delay it. Like, let me work on something else, on, content creation and, more dig deeper into what my clients need for this moment. And I'm not saying it was, completely wrong, but I wasn't addressing the core issue, and I wasn't investing into the person that I need to become in order to have the future that I see myself having, this impactful business which changes lives of millions of people, and of course producing millions of dollars in revenue every single year because of that, because of the impact and the change I make in people's lives. So that is my personal example, and how it helps me also to navigate day-to-day habits and choices. Like yesterday, for example, I met with 5 new people just through network on LinkedIn and friends here in Cape Town, and it was all about talks about coaching or possible collaborations. And then at night, I had an invitation to go for a sort of networking event. And it was a great group of people. And at night, I already was kind of exhausted. I'm an introvert, and I met so many people during that. I'm like, I don't want to go there. Maybe I should just sit and read a book, on sales instead. Maybe it's that more beneficial. But I knew that what old Angela would choose. And you, Angela, who is interested in impacting millions of people, building multi-million-dollar business, she would make a different choice. She would go to that networking that felt so good that a friend of mine here invited me to. And so I went. Right? That's how it is helping this new identity. $1 Million Babe helps me to navigate my day-to-day choices. A lot of my clients who I work with, they have also alter egos, and very often they would even have 2 versions. The badass one who achieves everything they want to have in the future, and they're like, mediocre one who didn't really go for things, didn't really reach out for their dreams, didn't really push hard enough because they didn't really believe in themselves, or chose easier things and not challenging things, and that would allow this person to grow into the future they desire, right? So a lot of my clients would have 2 versions of themselves for that specific person. Every time they need motivation to not procrastinate on challenging actions that lead towards desired future, whether that's business. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, so business is highest priority often, whether that's your fitness, whether that's your relationships. I don't work that much in relationships at all, but health and fitness also. Something that I constantly work with work on with my clients. So they have these two versions of themselves. The one that makes those, doesn't procrastinate on business decisions, goes out, goes extra mile to pursue things, to pursue clients, to pursue opportunities, to figure things out, to learn more, to build, again, greater products or businesses, to figure things out. And also they would very often have this same person be fit and healthy and full of energy, and that helps them to work on their sleep habits instead of compromising that for the business, right, and burning themselves out. So my clients would have those two versions. And for guys, what I noticed, pain works better. Like they don't want to end up that mediocre person who's behind their peers, who cannot provide the level of income they would love to provide for their family, right? For a lot of men, for a lot of guys, this like pain works better. For a lot of women, inspired version works better. Like for me as well, I do not work from pain. I'm only motivated by the future I desire. Well, sometimes I actually think, well, if I were to stay the same and have this mediocre life, and I'm like, hell fucking no, I'm gonna go and do what needs to be done. So yeah, maybe pain also does motivate me. But yes, so having these two versions of yourself, like a lot of my clients do, might also help you folks to build that desired future faster. So the first question, again, back to the beginning of this podcast, how do you know if you need to change? Well, if the future you desire needs a different you need to change, especially if you've been stuck for a while. Like in my business, I've been stuck for a while now. There is like so much freaking pain. I don't want to be there anymore. So I'm moving forward, right? And then having those identities, at first I really learned about identities many years ago from James Clear book when it just came out, Atomic Habits. And the idea is, if you want to implement consistent behavior change, if you want to implement new habits and want to quit the ones that don't work for you, changing your identity first, you're going to accelerate that process. So if you have the identity, for example, of $1 million business owner, you're going to do certain things consistently because that's what that person does. And if you have an identity of healthy and fit person, you're going to make certain eating choices. You're going to talk to yourself differently. You're going to have different exercise and sleeping habits. That's because that identity has those habits. So it even works with quitting smoking. If you consider yourself, let's say if you had a problem with smoking, a non-smoker from now on, when somebody asks you, do you want to have a cigarette or something, like, no, I'm not a smoker. I'm not a smoker. And, I'm trying to quit at two different answers. One has to do with changed identity, and it's much stronger, much powerful in producing desired behavior change. The other one, I'm trying to quit. It means you are still in the identity of the smoker and you're not going to be very successful with quitting smoking. So think about those identities, folks, and maybe pick up James Clear book, Atomic Habits. That's, in the behavior change kind of like something that everyone should read at least once. I also love BJ Fogg's Tiny Habits. I actually love that one more when it comes to applicable stuff. But James Clear has these concepts and stories that really hit home. So I would probably read both. Atomic Habits by James Clear and Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg, who has a PhD, I think, in psychology. Anyhow, now, I'm going to give you 3 tools that will help you to implement that identity change, that future building into your daily life, to bring into existence that desired future faster. It's mindset, mental model, thinking models kind of things. So there are 3 of those that I found to be the most applicable and the most effective, again, helping you to build that desired future, to commit to that future identity faster, sooner with daily actions. So let's start with probably backcasting. I think that's like the first one I want to start with. So backcasting, what is it? When you want to have a desired future, if you probably would need to implement, some strategy that would require specific action steps. Now, in a lot of times, business situations, life situations, relationships, health, the goal you desire, it might have complexity, right? Building business, it's not like, step-by-step solution. There are a lot of things you have to try and figure out to create the best formula for you that works for now. Even with health and fitness, the same thing. There are so many diets, there are so many exercise programs, there are so many things that you can be doing right and wrong, right? But backcasting still helps you to bring more clarity into day-to-day actions. So for example, if my goal is to build in 3-5 years multi-million-dollar business, what do I need to do in the next year? Year is always something I can wrap my head around. Well, in the next year, I need to bring at least hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And then that's, of course, again, that's just based on my knowledge about how, at what rate businesses are built these days using the same model that I have in my business. So backcasting, okay, I need to make my business first $100,000 a year. How do I do that? Well, right now, it seems like the best model to launch business fast in my space is challenge model, where you basically do a lot of challenges, turning cold traffic that doesn't know about you because I'm not a celebrity yet. So turning cold traffic fast into warm and hot that buys your high ticket sales, because I do have a lot of expertise. And so I don't really have cheap products, because I produce, the way I help people, it is a costly product. It's not like, I give you a meal plan. No, it's day-to-day operations, day-to-day work. Human beings are messy, and it's a lot of knowledge, expertise I always have to upgrade all the time. So, but back to the idea of backcasting. Okay, so now I have the model that is a almost gold standard in the industry now. Now I need to implement that. Okay, so what do I need to that? I need to learn from the best in the industry. And I just took a course, and I actually need to finish a few videos. And then I need to start launching my challenges every other week to get the practice and to find the best way it works, and to get better in sales, and to start generating a lot of income, right? So that is backcasting in my business goal right now. You can use it for health and fitness. Okay. If you want to have six-pack, and be realistic also, right, folks? So, pound a couple of pounds per month. It's a realistic goal. And that's where experts come in. They can tell you, this is the, average rate. If you want to live in a magical land, you can say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds every week or month, but that's, if you live in real world, doesn't usually happen. So anyhow, back to backcasting. So you can use the same for your fitness, for your health goals. So what is the desired future, and what do I need to do right now to start working towards that future? So that is backcasting. You can Google it, you can look it up. It's in Wikipedia. It's a way of thinking, planning, strategizing your future, so you actually get to live in that future. Now, the second strategy or mental model, it's called second order thinking. I learned about it in Flow Research Collective while going through their high performance training for instructors. So second order thinking, that will help you to align actions you do today to, again, bring that desired future faster. And also, specifically, it will help you also to avoid the actions that might be not desirable, or actions that do not produce that return on investment that you need in order to build that desired future at the rate, at the pace that you design. So what do I mean by that? Okay, second order thinking. Let's say today is Saturday, and I'm working on my business goal of becoming a multi-million-dollar business owner. Okay, and I'm launching a challenge on June 5th. That is a real story, folks. What do I need to do today? Well, I need to finish a course, a couple of videos there, and I need to put together a Facebook group, and I need to design a landing page. That has to happen the latest for me, what I plan to do Sunday, Monday, that has to be finished in whatever shape. And then I'm going to be working on bringing traffic, right? So second order thinking, okay, if I do this today and then by Monday, I'm going to have this ready. On Monday, I will start working on traffic and this is the strategies I have. So this will leaves me plenty of time to bring the kind of traffic that I desire, right? If my action, for example, well, I'm going to design my challenge on Wednesday. Well, that leaves me very little time to do the rest of the stuff. And that's why, I second order thinking, meaning not just thinking about today, but how your action affect the future outcome. When it comes to health and fitness, let's say you sit down for a meal with your friends and you are with the choices. Okay, what do I choose? Do I have dessert? Do I not have dessert? And let's say you have a pound a week weight loss goal. And you're like, okay, if I have this dessert now, it means I will have to adjust my actions to be in that calorie deficit for the rest of my week. Do I really want to do that? Or I want to be kind of a little bit modest on my dessert eating today, but have more meals for, for example, recovery after my workouts throughout the day, and I'm not that hungry and I have a better chance at succeeding with this goal, right? So this is second order thinking. Like a lot of people not that great at it. A lot of people, until you train this capacity to be more of a second order thinking, you do what feels right today. Present in a human mind always has this advantage. It is present, it is urgent, it is what we can think about, especially when it comes to, pleasure, money spending, food, getting mates, like a lot of things. People would choose right now the present, even though it cancels out their desired future. So when you become a proficient, a master second order thinking, it will become automatic for you. Okay, I'm going to take this action today. How is it going to affect my future? Do I want that future or do I want a different future? And based on that, you're going to start taking actions in the now. That's where the true power of second order thinking is, right? So backcasting is a little bit different. You draw a picture of desired future and step by step, you cast from that future to the now and your actions now. Second order thinking, it's kind of like working in reverse. You're like, okay, I'm going to take this action now. What kind of future it's going to bring to me? And if I like this future, then I'm going to stay with this action. If I don't like that future, then I'm going to change the action. So again, backcasting is from the future to now, second order thinking from now to the future. And the last, but definitely not least, future pacing. This is a concept of how to show up at important moments as the person that gonna have the future you desire. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you want to do more public speaking in the future as a part of my vision. I definitely do. Now, in order to do that, I need to practice more. I need to do more public speaking. Okay, now let's say I scheduled a few public speaking appearances. And in order to get more gigs, more opportunities to do public speaking, I need to appear, as a great public speaker. Well, maybe not great, but really good. So people want to invite me for future events. So what do I need to do? This is where future pacing comes in. In order to show up really powerfully at that public speaking event that we just planned, in my brain, I'm going to do mental training. I'm going to imagine myself showing up powerfully, getting onto the stage, feeling powerful, feeling in the flow, feeling creative, having fun, interacting with the audience, delivering value, but in the entertaining way, right? Becoming kind of a mix of an entertainer and educator. And this movie I will run in my head besides the practice, and memorizing my speech or designing my speech in the best possible way. This is the kind of training I need to do in my brain, future pacing myself into that role of an amazing, of great, of captivating public speaker. And then once you in that event, you will have and there is a really great neuroscience research on mental training and how it indeed helps you to show up much better when you rehearse those events where you need to show up powerfully. That will make a huge difference in your career, business, relationship, etc. So future pacing, it's kind of that mental rehearsing when you show up in those circumstances like public speaking. The way you need to show up to live that desired future, to live it faster and bring it into the present faster in the most effective way. So it's basically future pacing. It's kind of like mental training. When you live that future in your head, when you rehearse that future in your head, specific moments of that, like public speaking, for example, or maybe pitches to investors or negotiations or your workouts, you rehearse that in your head. If you want to become that, fit person, super fit person, you rehearse in your head how you go to the gym, how you smash your workouts, how you go for an extra set or extra repetitions, how you sweat, but you love it, right? So this future pacing will condition those neural networks in your head, and you are going to be kind of like wearing a familiar suit once you're in this situation, and that will help you again to show up as this future identity in those key moments that will bring the desired future opportunities, etc., into your present much faster. So I hope that helped, folks. If you've never thought about this thinking, these mental models, and you don't use them consistently, please start using them. They've been around actually for quite a while in high performance, in athletics, in business, in creative pursuits. They know about that. Some of them know the name, some of them don't, but they use them because in order to become great at anything, you would have to think about your future more often. In fact, in the New Scientist article that just came out on May 22nd, they talked about exact same concept. People who make better choices in the present about health, business, relationships, etc., they talk to their future self a lot more often. I believe they also introduced a book there. I wanted to read this article anyhow. But talking to your future self, thinking about your future when confronted with your present moment, with your day-to-day habits and actions, this will help you to build that future identity that lives that desired future much more effectively and consistently. And again, if you don't want to be that person who in 10, 20, 30 years from now wakes up and feeling like you missed all of your chances and you never went for things you actually wanted in life, you got to start building that person today. And that's when you need to change. And today you learned quite a few tools to help you work on that change in the most effective way. So hope, folks, you found this useful. Next week, stay tuned for, by the way, yes, next week, stay tuned for the announcement of our Procrastination Buster Challenge, where we're going to have guests. I'm going to introduce to you this powerful mental concepts and this idea that your brain is not a procrastinator. You just never learned how to set priorities for your brain. How's that for a mind-blowing idea? You just never learned how to use your brain to make it do the actions that build your desired future. So stay tuned for the announcement. Don't forget to share this episode, folks, so you could practice this concept with people with you love, admire, cherish, your friends, your family. Teach them to your kids, to your girlfriends, boyfriends, spouses, your parents. So we all can become better at building the future that we love. Also, of course, enjoying the present. So share this episode. That would mean a huge deal for me. And also review, of course, on any platform that you find this podcast on, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. That means a lot to this podcast, folks. We need to reach more people. So please do help me review, rate, leave a rating, write something good about us. And that's it. So let's recap. When do you know you need to change? When the future you want needs a different you, especially if you've been stuck for a while. And you might introduce two alter egos to help you motivate and relate to that future better, helping you to not procrastinate on the actions you need to take to build that person in the future you desire. And things like backcasting, second order thinking, and future pacing are there to help you. That's it, folks. Have an awesome weekend. Do something you truly enjoy, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you very soon.